Hey, it is your buddy, Peace and Harmony with you here today. Much love going out to all the beautiful empowered harmonizers. And we are zooming in and focusing in today on a great viewer question. And that is how to handle just sort of future falseness, future fakeness. And, either within yourself, how do you sort of break through and be authentic? And keep your cool, keep your composure, keep real, yet deal with someone who has perhaps betrayed you or acted out of your best interest. And it's got you sort of feeling either ashamed, angry, or embarrassed. And yet you don't want to just put on a happy face. You don't want to play pretend anymore. You don't want to play the game. You don't want to act like nothing happened. Yet you may still need to interact with this person on a civil manner. So how do you handle this? Either where they're acting falsely to you, in other words, putting on a false show of I am sorry. Perhaps not really giving you the apologies that you deserve, giving you the validation of your feelings, fessing up, admitting that how they have treated you has been completely hurtful to you. And as we know about people who are malignant, who are psychopathic, who lie, betray, cheat, put on a completely false front, and are really, super good at it. I mean, you could give these folks an Emmy the way that they pull one over on others. So it can be very difficult to be authentic with these people and really not really want to get together and put up with it. So it's to understand that the feeling of anger, hostility that you feel towards them is best worked through on your own. Even though they might seem the right person to resolve it with, there really is very little resolving that can be done. You need to get this traction within yourself and just begin to sort of operate in your own energetic field, meaning that this person you should in your mind's eye, in the heart of your heart, you should understand that this person should not be interacted with in a way that opens you up to further manipulation. In other words, not putting on a false front, not giving them really a second chance, not taking them at face value. If they seem to be nicer, if they seem like, they have calmed down a little bit, or it seems like you've maybe made some progress, you have to understand really that those people who are psychopathic and malignant narcissistic do not really change. They can put on airs. In other words, they can seem as if they have made amends. They can seem as if, they've apologized. Yet, just if you give them some time, it's gonna blow up again. They're gonna, continue with the assault of criticism. They're gonna begin to question you, doubt you. They're gonna try to push your buttons. Manipulators, once they've already had a lot of manipulation onto others, they will continue to operate in a manipulative manner. In other words, it's not free and easy breezy. It's not going to be, a walk in the park. It's not going to be, tiptoeing through the tulips, laughing and joking. It's not really able to be repaired. So don't seek to rescue them or kind of pick up, where perhaps they had sort of made some amends. So in terms of dealing with the falseness, life is too short to be lived inauthentically. Become able to deal with this through an act of observation and through minimizing your contact with them. If you have to interact with these people because they're family, you share a child, they're at your workplace, begin to shut it down. Not shut yourself down, but I don't want to say really shut them out, but really sort of, keep them outside of you and outside of, sort of the ruminations. Stop thinking about them. Begin to put the brakes and have control over your thoughts. Begin to ask yourself, how can I make myself more comfortable? And then again, how can I make myself more comfortable? Can I grab a tea? Can I grab my phone? Can I grab my iPad? Can I take a walk? Can I have other people who I attend to, who I have a genuine interest in, who has a genuine interest in me? How can I continue to add more to my environment so I'm more and more comfortable? How can I make myself happy? How can I be genuine in this situation? Can you turn your body away? Do not, begin to try to make a connection with this person through open body, through open questions, through touch. Don't play into their hand. Don't play their game. And begin to adopt a very cool, calm demeanor, so you basically are able to communicate in a dispassionate way. Even though you might be fired up, angry, depressed, not feel like it, just begin to make short, sweet statements. I don't play that game. I don't play that game. I don't concur with that. I don't agree with that. Begin to, feel that it's okay to not be okay with them. Oftentimes, people are so used to being in survival mode. In other words, you had to adapt and adjust to them and create a lot of coping mechanisms. You needed to adapt and adjust. People through coping, in order to just adjust to these hurtful people, began drinking, began smoking, began gambling, began eating, whatever it is that your adaptation go-to has been. Oftentimes it's because you've had to adapt to the stress of these people. These people can be very distressing. And being fake, being false, especially as the real authentic individual within you gets older, it takes more and more energy. It zaps you emotionally and energetically to continue the falseness. You will burn out. You will not be able to tolerate it. So little by little, begin to acknowledge any little progress that you make. In other words, being able to assert yourself rather than being fake. When these people are fake, they're acting like it didn't happen. They're just sort of minimizing your experience. Well, since we made that, since we crossed that bridge, since now that I know that we're cutting it off or that you're hurt, we've sort of had this conversation, well, we're going to be okay from here on out. No, you need to be the wiser. Don't give, the relationship a chance, being fake. Don't begin to feel like you have to compromise yourself. Begin to keep your lessons learned in front of you. Bring a notebook, bring a book to the get-together. Have a go-to place in your heart, in your eyes, bringing earbuds, beginning to sort of tune them out. Even if the relationship has been as significant, you might share a child with this person. This person might be in your workplace. This person might be your fiance or your ex or the one you've separated from or divorced from. You need to be the wiser and take that into action. Begin to have some go-to things, whether it's your tapes or videos, podcasts that you're listening to, notebooks, books. Begin to reduce the statements. Begin to become more of an observer of them. Observe what they try to get away with. Begin to really have a feeling of beginning anew. In other words, coming into the now and remaining sort of inspired to be above. Above meaning energetically connect to more of a higher place within you that feels safe and secure. You need to develop this feeling and this physiology, though, through mindfulness, through meditation, through the recovery journal, so through having a deeper connection to yourself. This will help sort of placate and put at ease the agitation that causes you to feel disrupted, angry, hostile, and sort of have a compromised happiness and fulfillment around these people. And begin to know that you do not have to play their game. So begin to be able to make statements. You know, especially do not allow yourself to be triggered by these people, because it really seems, as I say, once a manipulator, always a manipulator. These individuals rarely change their spots. They rarely change their stripes. They are who they are through and through. So it is to understand what it is that you're dealing with, understand the undue effect that they've had on your life, begin to stop going through the same coping mechanisms that you had turned to. Self-sabotage, self-loathing, self-doubt. Begin to really metamorphosize and alchemize and transmute into the opposite. So self-doubt becomes self-confidence and a knowing state, Knowing. If, you know, being angered, being agitated, being false was the issue, now you're going to alchemize into the opposite, being at peace, being strong, being very silent, you know, even if it means not thinking a lot. Do not overthink. Begin to feel. Begin to say I feel statements in the presence of this person. I am statements. Begin to deflect, and meaning allow them to bounce off of you. Don't give them the time of day. Do not answer their questions. We should be, especially the shoulds. Oftentimes these manipulators are filled with should and should not for everybody else except for them. You should this, you should that. Do not respond in like energy, because you're then engaging that in that manipulation. Begin to engage in pattern interrupts. In other words, when they begin with the I shoulds, begin, you know, don't enter into conflict consciousness. These people have what I also call a conflict consciousness, which means they're always up for a fight. They're always up for a battle. They're going to want to shrink you down to size. They're going to want to fluff up and puff up themselves. Do not engage in this exchange. Begin to deflect it, meaning knowing better. Having the lessons learned. These people puff themselves up. They deflate others. They try to shrink others down through their statements. Begin to deflect it off. And do not answer in like energy. In other words, don't engage them in tone, rhythm, or topic, meaning a pattern interrupt, which begins to sort of break the pattern, break the cycle. Abuse can be a vicious cycle of tension, anger, release, repeat. It can become a very predictable cycle. So know thyself and know the manipulator. Know the tactics. Begin to understand what their tactics are. Write them down. The tactics of this manipulator are. And write this down. Whether they try to control and manipulate, okay, if so, then get to know how and when and why they manipulate. They try to buy me gifts. They try to have me pick up something or leave something at their house. They try to use this as an opportunity to engage. Have a mediator. If you need a lawyer, if you're going through a divorce, if you're going through a separation, begin to engage professional mediation. Begin to have things, especially of your own, that you have ownership of, whether it's bank accounts, whether it's custody, whether it's owning, doing your own rent, your own car. Begin to really dissolve the ties that bind and keep the trauma bond in place. Begin to take these down one by one. In other words, what ways have they violated? And begin to then deflect and say, I have a line drawn there. I have a limit to this. I have a stopping point. Begin to use these sort of phrases so it shows that you are assertive. Don't make it complicated. Do not engage in a tit for tat. It should be a statement that you make that is not challenged. If they begin to challenge, I don't play. I don't question. This is not up for discussion. If you have never said these assertive words before, begin to practice. Begin to write them down so they become second nature and they become reprogrammed and imprinted within you so that you have these going in. And begin to really make note, I would say, especially of the time element that you are giving this person. Is it 5 minutes? Is it 10 minutes? Begin to watch your watch. In other words, begin to limit the time that you are spent. Having that in place will help you to keep and minimize the falseness. Do not engage in falseness. Even begin to say, I don't engage in this falseness. Show your knowledge. Begin to make statements. And so that you're not just coping, you are living. Oftentimes the manipulator will take away your human rights, your right to life, your right to free will, your right to decision making. Begin to get practiced at making more decisions and being decisive. I am decisive. I know what is best. I know what is right, and I know what does not work. Begin to make these statements in 5 to 15 words that are statements and are not up for challenging. This is not up for a challenge. This is not, this is not up for debate. This is not up for discussion. This is how it is. This is how it is going to be moving forward. Begin to show that you have learned some lessons along the way and begin to develop statements that reveal this. It is not funny. It is not okay to backslide. It is not okay to be manipulative in destructive manners. It is not okay to play into the hands of someone who is a false actor. It is not okay continue to be manipulated and neglected and exploited and taken advantage of. It is not okay. I am telling you, it is not acceptable. It is not to be tolerated. It is not fair when you have been treated unjustly, when you have been lied to, when you have been kicked to the curb, when you have been insulted, when you have been smacked around, when you have been taken for a ride. It is not okay. Especially as you get further into adulthood, it becomes very serious in nature. Even when the law needs to get involved. This is not fair. This is not right. This is my human right. And if they're going to sort of, ha 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 at you, do not open yourself up to feeling less than. Do not open yourself up to this. Begin to shut the door. I'm closing off this now. I'm stopping this now. I will not take this anymore now. I do not accept this now. Begin to make statements. Begin to deflect and have them deal with their own manipulation. It's like hanging, a sign on the door. No manipulators welcome. No abusive neglect welcome. Not here. No, no. Begin to become very clear and assertive and energized and enthusiastic. Oftentimes people are still coping in that interim stage while you're in the growing, and you might feel that you're hitting a wall. You might feel that you're not strong enough. You don't have reason enough. You don't have cause enough. You don't have foundation enough. I unequivocally challenge you to challenge yourself. There's a great saying, the strong man lays a foundation with the bricks that have been thrown at him. In other words, if people try to cast bricks your way to hurt you, begin to lay a foundation of strength within you and begin to stand up strong, hold your head up, and be assertive. I am assertive now. I know better. And as you begin to repeat this, the feeling and energy will shift within you so that you're not even worried about the fake. You're not even worried about the falseness. You're not worried that you've made a wrong decision. Worry, as a great friend of mine once said, is one of the most worthless emotions. Begin to ponder on that, because to worry means that you are concerned about the reaction of another. And that is try to forecast the future of somebody who you cannot control. So if you really break down worry, you are worried about how someone is going to think, act, or feel about you. Who cares? Who cares what they think? Who cares? Do not care. If they are the manipulator, the abuser, the neglector, the one with whom at the end of their hand you have suffered, I am suffering no more. I am ending the suffering now. This is a choice. This is a choice, and I accept my choices. And my decisions are taking me further along the journey without this person, without the falseness. I challenge myself, and I am living authentically. I'm not going to forget where I came from. I'm not going to forget that this happened. I have learned from this experience, and I accept my lessons, and I'm all the stronger for it. And if you begin to feel some energy of being assertive, by repeating these are astramations, you will feel stronger. You might even get a little bit angry. This might give you a lot of energy that you can then put towards and alchemize and transmute towards the positive. You might feel that this person is fueling you negatively. However, that negativity can be changed into the positive once you begin to really resonate on it, and you begin to really hear the lessons that I am free. I am actually free. I am actually a human. This person has treated me less than human. This is not fair. This is not right. This is unjust. I'm sick of being treated less than human. I'm sick of being having my feelings negated. I am sick of my feelings not being felt by another. I am sick of being ignored. I'm being sick of being treated this way. Never again is now. I am so done with this. You need to have that sort of cauterization emotionally, where, like a blood, congeals and is beginning to heal. This is an emotional process that you need to coagulate and heal within yourself. I am emotionally coagulating. In other words, the emotions are beginning to come together and become stronger and stronger in the positive, so I'm no longer being depleted by the falseness or the negative. I hope this video does help you alchemize and change so that you don't live on the false. You live in the positive. You live in the real. You begin to see and observe and begin to sort of, shake your head no at these people. That's negative, orderly direction thinking. That's not for me. And being able to comfortably, calmly, and dispassionately assert yourself with these statements if you have to interact. This is your buddy, Peace and Harmony, with you here today. And I hope that these videos do help. Please share and please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support. Peace out. Have a beautiful day.